Hey guys, Krisha here. Please be cautious of any fake comments and emails you may receive from people pretending to be Mango Research. Sean and I will never, ever contact you for investment opportunities or anything of that sort. To get in touch with the real Mango team, make sure to join our official Discord chat using the link in the description below. Stay safe out there. And remember, do it Mango. And what's up, you guys? Welcome to the Mango Grove. My name is Krisha, and this is today's Vechain analysis video. I am going to try and keep this one as short as possible. I always say that, and I just fail miserably every freaking time. But today, on today's agenda, we will first be starting off with the Mango dashboard, then we'll be getting on over to Bitcoin's chart, and only then will I be getting on over to Vechain's chart. Now, if you're someone who is in a hurry and you just want to cut to the chase, I will be including timestamps below. Cool beans, cool beans. So without further ado, let's get in. Chip chop. Now I'm going to get on over to the Mango dashboard. As you can see, I already have Vechain filtered out from this list. I'm currently on that 4-hour time frame. And what we see here is that Vechain USDT has flipped long. Okay, this bullish long trend change came to us 15 hours ago. Now, if you are someone who caught a trade on Vechain based on this long trend change, you are already up a good 5% on your trade. Alrighty, Vechain BTC also gave us a bullish long trend change, which came in 19 hours ago. And if you caught a trade on that, you're up a good 4.35%. Now, this is something that I've been harping on about, is that when we want to see a trend being established on any chart, okay, and a trend could be an uptrend, it could also be a downtrend. In Vechain's case, we're seeing that the bulls are taking over on the 4-hour time frame. Right now, my next question is that, okay, is this trend going to continue? Right? Are we going to see a bit more oomph, a bit more juice from the bulls? And for that, guys, I'll be looking at now the 12-hour time frame. I want to see the 12-hour as well flip long. Alright, so we can see here that Vechain BTC has flipped long 7 hours ago on the 12-hour time frame, telling me that, okay, that trend is beginning to cascade on over to the higher time frames. And that's how we actually see a trend being established. Alright, so my next watch is going to be for Vechain USDT to see if this flips long. I want to see this neutral turn into a long trend change, telling me that the bulls are about to take over on the 12-hour time frame as well. But I think we're testing key resistances at this point in time that could make Vechain very, very interesting in the days to come. But we'll have to sort of wait and watch. Okay, it's going to be an if this then that here as well. Now, this is what Vechain's up to. Let's get into the charts. As I'd mentioned, I'm going to be starting off with Bitcoin first. And why is that? It's because we closed a monthly candle, okay, and opened a brand new one. Now I'm going to go ahead and put on my Ichimoku cloud. Now this is something that I brought up to the C chat earlier today, and I was looking at the monthly close. Now I had a horizontal that was marked up somewhere around this region, around 38,600. But that, I said, what, I'm going to remove all biases. I'm just going to put off all my horizontals and just look at how we close relative to, the 21 EMA, the Tenkin and the Kijun, as well as that 10 simple moving average. All right. And it appears that we have held all 4 major regions of support underneath us. Okay, all 4 regions that we have been trending on for months on end now. Right, all of these candles here, guys, these are all monthly candles. That's 31 days of price action just encapsulated into one candle. Now, if I just zoom out of this chart, and this is the point that I really want to drive in, and this is why I don't want to get too overly bearish until and unless we start, breaking that 10 simple moving average. However, please note that I still stick to my original statement that I'll be playing the ranges here. Okay, yes, we're currently living underneath the weekly 21 EMA. Which has me tipping on the more bearish side, but I'm not playing any trend trades. I'm only playing the ranges. Any opportunity to play the ranges to the upside or even the downside, I will take it. Okay, I'm not looking for trend trades at this particular juncture, but I've noticed something on this chart. It's a mere observation, so just check it out. Now, in this last bull market, okay, we saw price trend beautifully on the Tenkin 21, as well as the 10 SMA Kijun as well. Now, notice how the trigger for the bear market was we lost this uptrend right here. Okay, and at this point, guys, we had lost the weekly 21 as well. But notice what the monthly did. Now, this was the deciding factor. We also, we lost the Tenkin, the Kijun, as well as the 10 SMA and closed underneath all of those levels. Okay, price got picked back up on the next month for us to get an official test of the Tenkin and the Kijun, only for us to then get into that prolonged bear market, taking us all the way down to that 3K region. Notice what's happened here. Yes, we've come down. Now, this is a bloody ugly candle. Okay, in fact, you know what? I should stop doing that. I'm not going to call it ugly anymore, because the thing about trading is that you can take the opposite side of the trade as well, right? We can go long on Bitcoin, yes, but we can also take the short side and be profitable on the short side as well. So I'm going to say that this candle here looks super bearish, right? The bears are in control of this candle right here, but notice how we were not able to take out the Tenkin Kijun as well as that 10 SMA to the downside. So we did not close underneath those levels. The bears lost the fight there. They tried to take it down past those levels, but they failed. Okay, the bulls managed to pick it back up. So far, we're living over the 10 SMA, the Tenkin, and the Kijun, and even the 21 EMA. So there's still a fight. Okay, I think there's still gonna be a fight. However, if this monthly candle loses that 10 SMA to the downside, I'm saying further down we go. Okay, that's going to be ugly as hell. Apologies for that really ugly chart, but I'm saying further down we go. If we start closing candles underneath that 10, actually not candles, if we start closing even one candle underneath the 10 SMA, I'm saying that the bears fully have the edge here. So I'm saying that right now Bitcoin is in no man's land. I think anyone can take this fight home. Now this is what Bitcoin's doing. Let's get into Vechain and see what Vechain's up to. Okay, now Vechain 2 closed a monthly candle. We have the 10 SMA and the 21 EMA that is still maintaining its bullish crossover. I think that's obvious because this was a pretty volatile move to the upside and it was very, very bullish. So the monthly is still looking all right. Okay, let's go ahead and put on our horizontals now. Now, this is what I was looking at as far as horizontals are concerned. The major region of support I'm looking for Vechain to hold came in right here, okay, at 11 cents. And it appears that the bulls managed to defend it. However, we lost the midpoint that came in at around that 13-cent region. So I think we could get an official test of 11 cents. All right, that's what I'll be looking for in the interim. Now, 11 cents is going to be the next test, in my opinion. I think that is going to be a major horizontal, even, in fact, if you pattern over to the weekly time frame. Now, I have sort of extrapolated these levels from the weekly time frame primarily. Okay, if I just go ahead and clear that chart out, you'll notice that we've come up, we've tested that midpoint. Now, I've been driving a very, very strong emphasis on the midpoints. Every time I look at a range, currently the range goes in from 15 cents down to 11 cents, the midpoint coming in at 13 cents. I look at that midpoint to really tip me off on whether or not we could see immediate continuation or we could see another pullback into a major level. So far, we've closed candles underneath that 13-cent region. So until and unless we start closing candles, now this doesn't necessarily have to be a weekly candle. This could also be a daily candle. If I start seeing candle body closes over 13 cents, only then will I really be anticipating a push to the upside. Okay, the next region of resistance, or rather the next target, only comes in at 15 cents. It's going to be an if this then that. Only if we close with the midpoint, only then will I be anticipating a push to the upside. So far, I feel like the bears have the edge on this most immediate close. I think 11 cents is going to be the next test. How about the daily time frame? Let's get on over to the daily. And here we're actually going to put on our Ichimoku cloud. Okay, and you'll notice that ever since we broke down right here, this was on 12th of May, we have been holding that 21 EMA as overhead resistance. Okay, the 21 EMA as well as that Tenkin, we have yet to close over any of those two levels. And I want you to notice another very, very key confluence point here, which is the 21 EMA lining up with the midpoint coming in at 13 cents. So taking those two regions out, like actually closing candles over those two regions, is what's going to tip me off on continuation. So right now, I believe that Vechain is in a range of consolidation. There is a pattern play that I'm looking at, and I figure that this pattern is playing on many of the altcoins right now. And people are usually looking at it as symmetrical triangles, and I get it. You know, it's got the psychology of symmetrical triangle if you're looking at the volume, if you're looking at the candles. But I think it's leaning more on some charts. Okay, Vechain is not one of those charts, but say Matic, for example, someone drew out a symmetrical triangle today and posted it in the Grove chat. I don't think that it's a symmetrical more than it's a like a cup and handle or something a lot more bullish. And why am I looking at these at these consolidations as more bullish than bearish? It's because of the second low that was put in on many of these charts. I'm noticing that the difference between the lowest point, so say here, for example, I'm just going to fix my scale so you get a better sort of visual on it. Okay, this was one low right here. We had another low, and now this was a brand new low. So we're seeing a series of higher lows being put in and lower highs being put in on these charts, right? But the difference between this right here and this low right here was a good 40%, right? So people are not willing to sell at lower prices. That's what this price action is telling me, is as far as the psychology is concerned. So I'm saying that this is tipping more, these consolidations at the very least on the daily time frame as well as the 4-hour time frame, they're tipping more on the bullish side than the bearish side. As soon as I start seeing even 4-hour candle body closes over that 21 EMA as well as that midpoint, I'm seeing further up we go. 15 cents for a spot. We start closing candles over 15 cents. We would effectively be breaking into a brand new price range, going in from 15 cents all the way back up to 21 cents. All right, now I'm giving you these points of reference. These are not calls. I know some people come here primarily to get calls. You're not going to find that here. Okay, for me as well, I'm a trader and I'm going to start looking at keeping my biases at bay. I'm always looking at price relative to reference points. I give you guys these points of support and resistance so that you too may have reference points when looking at your chart. Now, more often than not, these reference points, it helps me guide my trade setups as well. Right? I sometimes even use them as my invalidation points. If they're strong enough, they tend to be my invalidation points. I know that if I'm taking a trade, say on this midpoint, say we close a candle over this midpoint, right? If I'm taking a trade there, I'm like, all right, if we start closing additional candles underneath the midpoint, I know that I have been negated on my trade. I am wrong on my trade. I will get out. If I have to take a loss, I'll get out. But more often than not, these midpoints price often tends to oscillate within these ranges, right? So even if we break, I tend to get a retest where it allows me to get out of my position safely and sometimes even in profit before it has another continuation to the downside, right? So it's always good to sort of keep reference points on your chart. It helps you keep your biases at bay and also helps guide your trade setups. Okay, now this is the daily. How about the 4-hour time frame? As soon as we start taking out this region right here, which comes in at 13 cents to the upside, I'm saying further up we go. The next region of contention comes in at 15 cents. If we actually start meeting the measured move of this beautiful head and shoulders pattern, that would take us all the way up to that 18-cent mark. Okay, so these are the most immediate targets on the chart. I'll say this though, if we start to breaking, if we essentially start taking out this low right here, I'm saying further down we go. It is going to be very, very, very simple. The next region of contention only comes in at 6 cents. Okay, so 6 cents is going to be a next target if we start breaking to the downside. Now, this is what Vechain USDT is up to. Let's quickly get on over to Vechain BTC on the weekly time frame. As I'd mentioned, I will only be covering it on the higher time frames. Okie dokes. So now, this was the horizontal I was looking for Vechain to take out, which came in at 323 sats. Did we close the monthly over that though? We did. Oh, look at that. Look at this candle, Jesus. We closed the monthly over that region of support. Okay, this came in at 324 sats. However, the weekly that we closed yesterday did not. What I'll be looking for now, if we manage to start holding this region as support, 323 sats, only then will I be looking for a continuation to the upside. Okay, the next major region of contention comes in at 408 sats. So I'll be looking for daily candle body closes as well over that 323 sat region. Alrighty. If we start seeing more strength on there, I'm seeing further up we go. And notice how we have a very, very similar sort of pattern play here as well. It's almost like you could either look at it as a W-like formation, or let me go ahead and put on my volume. This could also be a head and shoulders with a very, very narrow left shoulder. Okay, now this actually ends up playing out. Where would we go up to? Let's take this measured move. Okay, this suggests that we break the highs already. But I'll say this. Okay, now that's one shot that we have. If we actually start trending to the upside and we actually start meeting the measured move of this beautiful pattern, we will start breaking the highs. But in order for me to get some sort of gauge on revival from Vechain BTC, I'll essentially be looking for price to start living once again over the breakdown point. Okay, and when I say living over, I want to see consecutive candle body closes. Heads up on that. So this is going to be the region with the topmost threshold coming in at 342 sats. Okay, we start seeing that even on the lower time frames, I'm seeing further up we go. Next immediate region of contention only comes in at 407 sats, which is not going to be an ordinary move from where price is at right now, or rather from the most immediate point of resistance to the next target. That is going to be a good 19% to the upside. Okay, so some pretty decent gains to be had as soon as we start getting the right signals. So I'll be looking for candle body closes over these regions to then anticipate a further push to the upside. Now, this is all I have for you for Vechain. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know if there are any other coins that you want me to cover. Okay, contingent on it actually having some decent price history on the chart. And also, it has to be on TradingView. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video, and with this, trade safely, trade stress-free, trade the mango way, trade the easy way. Ciao.